It was like a devastating tsunami. They came in by the tens of thousands. They swam, they climbed, they stormed a European city and turned it into what residents are calling an apocalypse. And when Spanish police tried to send them home, they didn't leave quietly. They marched through the streets of a Christian European city chanting this. But if these northern African invaders thought they could get the residents of Ceuta, Spain to bend the knee, they were in for one rude awakening. As it turns out, they threatened the wrong city. European patriots are rising up, and they're taking their city back. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else, so you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. On Thursday, July 30th, an estimated 60,000 people, overwhelmingly young Moroccan men, surged across the border into the city of Ceuta, Spain's tiny northern African enclave of roughly 83,000 residents. In a single day, a mob equal to nearly 60% of the entire population of a European city physically forced its way across a sovereign border. Some climbed the border fence, some simply swam around it. Spanish authorities were completely overwhelmed. This wasn't obviously a slow drip of supposed asylum seekers. This was a human tidal wave, and it hit a European city like a sledgehammer. The human cost was immediate, and it was brutal. Dozens of people drowned in the initial crossing attempts, and the death toll would later be revised upwards to as many as 72 and climbing. Within a mere 48 hours, this quiet Spanish outpost on the coast of Africa had been turned into what many are calling a third world trash dump. In the midst of it all, videos began surfacing of assaults all across the city, such as this reported Moroccan man attempting to smash through a bus window to assault the female driver after she refused his advances. Another video purports to show North Africans attacking a car with a Ukrainian man and his wife in an attempt to rob them. And then, just yesterday, Sunday, as Spanish authorities attempted to transport migrants back toward the beaches for return to Morocco, groups of men resisted. They broke away from military trucks and marched back through residential Ceuta. Videos circulating across social media showed a crowd carrying a wounded man on their shoulders, allegedly injured by police, while chanting Allahu Akbar through the streets of a Catholic Spanish city. Obviously, this wasn't prayer in a mosque. This was a chant of defiance hurled at Spanish National Guard officers on Spanish soil by a crowd that legally wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. And then, to the shock of these invaders, this happened. If these Moroccan invaders thought that the people of Ceuta were just going to bend the knee and submit to their intimidations, they were in for a very rude awakening. The patriots of the city rose up. Ordinary Spanish citizens didn't just cower, they fought back. Footage captured furious residents of Ceuta chasing migrants down the streets, waving Spanish flags, screaming at the invading crowds to leave their city. These weren't soldiers. These weren't police in riot gear. These were shopkeepers. These were fathers, brothers, regular Spaniards who understood instinctively what their own government seemed incapable of admitting, that a nation which cannot control who enters it is not really a nation at all. And even amid the chaos, Ceuta refused to let its identity be erased. Despite the crisis, city authorities and the Brotherhood of Our Lady of Africa announced this week that Ceuta will proceed with its centuries-old Catholic tradition, the Feast of Our Lady of Africa, with a floral offering on August 4th and a solemn procession on August 5th, honoring the Blessed Virgin, who has been Ceuta's patroness since Pope Pius XII's declaration in 1949, with roots tracing back to 1421. The Brotherhood's statement was almost defiant in its faith. Quote, "Through the centuries, Ceuta has successfully faced all manner of challenges without ever losing what defines it: its faith, its traditions, and its deep love for its patroness." In the middle of an actual siege, with tens of thousands of illegal migrants still roaming the streets, with the death toll climbing possibly up towards 100, the people of Ceuta are choosing to march the Virgin Mary through their city rather than surrender their heritage to fear. Gang, that is what civilizational courage actually looks like, unlike Spain's socialist left-wing government. We're finding out more and more what was really behind this border collapse, and it increasingly appears that the fault lies right at the feet of their socialist president himself. One of the most important things you can do for your home and your family is be prepared before an emergency ever happens. Because when something goes wrong, when a fire starts, the last thing you want to be doing is scrambling for some complicated solution. In moments like that, you need something simple, fast, practical, and ready to go. And that's exactly what I want to tell you about the Sierra Madre fire blanket. Now, what I love about this is just how easy it is to use. You simply pull it out using these straps, and then you unfold it. I'm not going to unfold everything. It's pretty big, but you get it. And then you place it over the flames. And that's it. No complicated instructions, no special training, right? No pressure gauges to check, no chemicals, no maintenance, and no complicated operation. It's lightweight, it's easy to carry, and it's compact enough to keep close by without taking up a bunch of space. And that makes it especially valuable in the kitchen, where so many household fires start. But it's not just for your kitchen. You can keep one in your car, your RV, your camper, your boat, in your emergency kit next to the barbecue. In other words, it's one of those simple tools that gives you real peace of mind wherever life takes you. The Sierra Madre fire blanket is made from 100% fiberglass fabric, and it works by cutting off oxygen to the flames. No charging, no batteries, no waiting. It's always ready whenever you need it. So if you're looking for a simple, practical way to add another layer of protection for your home, your vehicle, and the people you love most, check out the Sierra Madre fire blanket today. It's a small thing to keep on hand, but in the moment you need it, it can make all the difference. Click the link below to get yours today. According to a number of reports, the roots of this crisis trace back to a collapse in the U.S.-Spain relationship that's been building now for years. So since 2023, Pedro Sanchez's socialist leftist government has recognized the Palestinian state. They've imposed a total arms embargo on Israel. They've downgraded diplomatic ties with the Israeli government. And critically, they've refused the United States' expanded access to military bases at Ceuta and Moroccan. That's not a minor diplomatic squabble. Those bases are strategic assets for American power projection across the Mediterranean and North Africa. For years, there was an unspoken understanding that Washington would quietly lean on Rabat, Morocco's government, to keep pressure off Spain's African enclaves if things ever got out of hand. The irony here is that it was ironically U.S. pressure on Morocco that kept that Ceuta border secure. Well, that informal safety net evaporated the moment this socialist President Sanchez decided ideological posturing against Israel and reduced cooperation with the United States military mattered more than maintaining Spain's international alliances. When the border collapsed, it signaled the collapse of Sanchez's multilateral alliances. The safety net of those alliances was gone. Spain, with its social government, ended up only hurting themselves. Add to this the fact that Morocco's Tangier Med port has now overtaken Spain's own port city of Algeciras as the largest container hub in the entire Mediterranean, meaning that the economic center of gravity around the Strait of Gibraltar is physically shifting south into Moroccan hands. Spain isn't just losing control of its border, it's losing strategic and economic relevance in its own backyard. And its own government's foreign policy choices are the reason why. Here's the bottom line. This is what happens when a European government abandons its alliances, ignores its borders, and lets ideology override the basic function of a state, protecting its own people. 60,000 people stormed a Spanish city in 48 hours. Streets ran with human waste. Women wept on camera, surrounded, begging for the army. Men marched chanting a foreign religious war cry at the very police trying to restore order. And through it all, the ordinary people of Ceuta, the shopkeepers, the flag wavers, the faithful who refused to cancel a 5-century-old procession to the Virgin Mary, showed more backbone than their own National Socialist government. Pedro Sanchez picked fights with Israel. He picked fights with Washington. And when the crisis came, he discovered that alliances built on shared values and shared interests don't survive being spat on. Spain is reaping exactly what its leadership sowed. And the patriots of Ceuta are the ones left to pay the price, and the ones left to stand and fight. If you want to understand where Europe is heading, don't look at Brussels policy papers, don't look at Madrid. Look at the trashed beaches of Ceuta, the Spanish flags waving in defiance, and a Catholic city that, even under siege, refuses to stop defending its civilizational identity. Before you go, don't let the mainstream control your weekend mood. Every Friday, I put together a weekly wrap-up with real wins, real momentum, and proof that Patriots are actually winning in 2026. No spin, no doom script, just the truth about what God's doing through faith, family, and freedom. Click the link below to get this week's wrap-up free and start your weekend encouraged, not demoralized.